Welcome to our immigration briefing show. Today, we're diving into some eye-opening stories from around the world. First up, Hong Kong is experiencing a 22% jump in phone scam cases this year, with over 2,500 incidents reported. Interestingly, even though scams are more frequent, the total financial losses have plummeted by 64%, thanks mainly to increased awareness and better collaboration with Chinese authorities. Mainland Chinese students still face risks like impersonation and rental scams, with some victims losing millions, so vigilance is key. Next, we look at the challenges faced by nursing homes in the U.S. as Trump's immigration policies tighten. Many foreign-born caregivers, who make up a large part of the workforce, are losing their work authorization, leading to a staffing crisis just as demand for elder care skyrockets. The Biden administration tried to expand protections, but renewed restrictions threaten to make recruitment even harder, impacting the quality of care for seniors. This ongoing immigration crackdown could have long-term consequences for the industry. Finally, we hear compelling stories from inside a Trump ICE detention center. Luis Martinez, an immigrant from El Salvador, spent 19 days detained under questionable circumstances, living in overcrowded and unsanitary conditions. Despite some legal wins for detainees, many face uncertainty and fear of rearrest. His story highlights the ongoing struggles immigrants endure under aggressive enforcement tactics, emphasizing the urgent need for reform that respects their rights and humanity. Please continue to watch for more detailed insights. The South China Morning Post vividly depicts the ongoing surge in phone scams in Hong Kong, where police reports reveal a 22% increase in cases from January to May, yet a dramatic 64% decrease in total losses, amounting to 430 million Hong Kong dollars. This paradoxical trend is primarily attributed to a sharp decline in scams targeting mainland Chinese students, who previously lost millions in elaborate impersonation schemes involving officials and fraudulent agents. Police officials emphasize the importance of continued awareness campaigns, especially as scammers exploit students through fake job offers and impersonation of authorities, with the most significant case involving a student deceived out of 9.2 million Hong Kong dollars. Authorities have responded by deploying promotional videos at border crossings, warning students to remain vigilant amid the looming new academic year, highlighting the persistent threat despite the decline in overall financial losses. The Associated Press offers a poignant and alarming account of the struggles faced by U.S. nursing homes amid President Trump's aggressive immigration policies. Facilities, already strained by staffing shortages, now grapple with the loss of foreign-born workers whose legal statuses have been revoked, including those with temporary protected status, TPS, from countries like Venezuela and Haiti. Industry leaders like Deke Cato express deep concern over the shrinking pipeline of immigrant workers, which is vital given that over a quarter of caregiving staff are foreign-born. The situation is exacerbated by the broader climate of fear and uncertainty, with many workers avoiding shifts due to immigration raids or deportation threats. The industry's reliance on immigrant labor is starkly contrasted with the political discourse, as care workers, predominantly women and minorities, earn modest wages and face high turnover, further threatening the future of elder care amid demographic shifts and the ongoing immigration crackdown. The Independent provides a harrowing narrative of Luis Martinez's harrowing 19-day detention in ICE facilities in Massachusetts, encapsulating the brutal realities of America's immigration enforcement under the Trump administration. Luis's story begins with a desperate journey from El Salvador and a life built in the U.S., only to be abruptly interrupted when unmarked cars with masked officers detained him and his father in broad daylight. His detention in overcrowded, unsanitary facilities, coupled with the stripping of personal belongings and chains around his waist, paints a stark picture of the heavy-handed tactics employed by ICE. Despite legal efforts and federal judges affirming his due process rights, policies introduced or rescinded by the current administration have made his path to legal recognition arduous, leaving him fearful and uncertain about his future. Luis's ordeal exemplifies the broader systemic issues of overpolicing, lack of transparency, and the ongoing struggle of immigrants fighting for justice and dignity amid a climate of intensified enforcement. The Sydney Morning Herald vividly captures Rosie O'Donnell's fiery retort to Donald Trump's threat to revoke her U.S. citizenship, describing her as a King Joffrey with a tangerine spray tan, a colorful reference to the sadistic character from Game of Thrones. O'Donnell, who relocated to Ireland in April to escape Trump's political climate, responded with sharp wit and defiance, emphasizing her identity as a loud, queer woman and a mother who speaks the truth. She contrasted her life and values with Trump's, criticizing his lies, greed, and degradation, and boldly declared that he could try to revoke her citizenship, but she would remain in Ireland, unbowed and unsilenced. The Independent offers a detailed account of the escalating political drama, highlighting Trump's controversial consideration of stripping O'Donnell's citizenship, despite legal protections against such actions. The article underscores her American birthright and the constitutional safeguard established by the 14th Amendment, which explicitly prohibits stripping citizenship from native-born Americans. O'Donnell's fierce critique of Trump's policies and character, along with her move to Ireland for health reasons, underscores her ongoing opposition. She responded to Trump's threats by posting a provocative Instagram photo of him with Jeffrey Epstein, further taunting him about her continued presence in his mind, and reaffirming her stance that she is not his to silence. Associated Press contextualizes Trump's threats within his broader pattern of targeting political opponents and critics, emphasizing the legal impossibility of revoking O'Donnell's citizenship, given her birthright in the U.S. The article explains that the Supreme Court has long upheld that citizenship cannot be taken away involuntarily from native-born Americans, making Trump's threats legally baseless. It also notes O'Donnell's ongoing criticism of Trump's policies and leadership, her move to Ireland for personal reasons, and her firm stance that she remains an active critic, unafraid of his threats. Her response, both sharp and resolute, exemplifies her refusal to be silenced by political intimidation, reinforcing her identity as a vocal critic of Trump's presidency and policies. The Sydney Morning Herald paints a picture of a turbulent week on Wall Street, where the U.S. markets experienced a slight retreat from record highs amid escalating trade tensions. The market's modest decline was driven by President Trump's aggressive tariff threats against trading partners like Canada, with a significant increase in tariffs on Canadian goods, and hints at even steeper tariffs on pharmaceuticals and copper. Despite initial market volatility in spring, investors have largely adapted to the unpredictable nature of Trump's trade policies, assuming a baseline of around 10% tariffs. As corporate earnings season approaches, companies like Levi Strauss and PriceSmart have shown resilience by beating expectations, even as sectors such as finance, healthcare, and airlines face declines. Meanwhile, Bitcoin reached a new all-time high, reflecting bullish sentiment across risk assets, and bond yields rose as investors sought safety amidst the geopolitical and economic uncertainties. Yahoo US reports a controversial and emotionally charged misuse of a wildfire survivor survey by Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, who cited it to criticize FEMA's response to the Maui disaster. The survey, which included distressing findings that 1 in 6 Filipino women survivors exchanged sexual favors for basic necessities, was misappropriated by Noem to argue for dismantling FEMA and shifting disaster response authority to states. Critics, including Hawaii's congressional representatives and the study's co-authors, accused Noem of politicizing the tragedy and exploiting vulnerable women's suffering to serve her agenda. The report's authors, who are Filipino women and disaster response advocates, condemned the use of their findings to attack FEMA amid ongoing debates over the federal agency's effectiveness, especially in the context of the Lahaina wildfire aftermath. The controversy underscores the complex intersection of disaster response, gender issues, and political narratives, with prominent voices emphasizing the need for continued federal support rather than dismantling essential agencies. The Associated Press details the political landscape shaped by President Trump's expansive budget and policy bill, which is poised to influence the 2026 midterm elections. The law's passage has intensified the battle for control of the House, with Democrats aiming to flip at least 3 seats to regain power, while Republicans tout the law's tax cuts, immigration enforcement, and restrictions on social programs as victories. The legislation's provisions, such as permanent tax cuts benefiting the wealthy, tightened Medicaid work requirements, and increased immigration enforcement, are polarizing, with Democrats warning of rising uninsured rates and social hardship. The law's impact varies across key battleground states like California, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, where districts could swing based on voters' reactions to Trump's policies. The political fight is further complicated by the legacy of Trump's influence, with Democrats seeking to capitalize on discontent and Republicans emphasizing economic growth and immigration enforcement. As the midterms approach, both parties are mobilizing to define the law's legacy and sway voter sentiment in this pivotal electoral cycle. CBC reports that Canada is experiencing a concerning resurgence of measles in 2025, with Ontario bearing the brunt early in the year and Alberta currently witnessing a spike. Despite the widespread outbreaks, most Canadians who have previously contracted measles are likely protected, thanks to natural immunity, provided their immune systems responded normally. For those who have lost vaccination records, health authorities generally recommend receiving another dose of the MMR vaccine, which is safe even for those already vaccinated, as it helps bolster immunity. The importance of a national vaccine registry is highlighted to better track individual immunization histories, especially amidst high mobility and record-keeping challenges. Routine testing for measles immunity isn't broadly recommended. However, vulnerable groups such as healthcare workers and pregnant women can opt for blood tests to confirm immunity, which is presumed for those with 2 vaccine doses or born before 1970. Canada does not require proof of vaccination for entry, but some travelers may be vaccinated during immigration health exams, emphasizing the need for better cross-border record sharing to prevent gaps in immunity. BBC details the ongoing legal and political battles over immigration enforcement in the United States, with a California judge issuing a temporary restraining order against the Trump administration's aggressive detention policies. The court's decision was based on evidence of indiscriminate patrols that violate constitutional rights, such as racial profiling and suspicionless arrests at spots like bus stops and car washes. The ruling underscores the widespread protests and human rights concerns sparked by recent ICE raids, which targeted workplaces and farms, sometimes resulting in violence and injuries, especially in California's agricultural communities. Advocates argue these tactics discriminate based on race, language, or location, undermining constitutional protections, while the government defends its focus on violent criminals and claims to prioritize public safety. The legal dispute reflects the deep divide over immigration policy, with critics warning that the administration's approach risks violating fundamental rights, even as officials tout their efforts to remove dangerous individuals from American neighborhoods. The Toronto Star introduces the Honda Passport's 2026 model, blending rugged off-road aesthetics with a luxurious interior that defies expectations. The vehicle's boxy, adventure-ready exterior hints at trail capability, but its true strength lies in its refined comfort and high-tech features. Inside, the Trail Sport Touring trim offers brown perforated leather seats with orange contrast stitching, a heated steering wheel, and a suite of advanced infotainment options, including a 12.3-inch touchscreen and wireless smartphone integration. Designed for light off-road adventures, the Passport Trail Sport features standard all-terrain tires, an off-road tuned suspension, and a robust 3.5-liter V6 engine delivering 285 horsepower, paired with a smooth 10-speed automatic transmission. Despite its off-road focus, it excels on paved roads with quiet cabins, responsive handling, and ample cargo space. However, its high price point, lack of hybrid options, and unconventional gear shift buttons are notable drawbacks. Overall, the Passport's combination of rugged design and luxurious comfort makes it a compelling choice for those seeking adventure without sacrificing everyday refinement. The Associated Press reports a tragic incident at a California cannabis farm, where Jamie Alanis, a 57-year-old farm worker, fell from a greenhouse roof during a chaotic ICE raid. Despite not being in custody, Alanis was reportedly fleeing agents when he fell approximately 30 feet, resulting in a broken neck and subsequent death. The raid, which involved arresting around 200 suspected undocumented immigrants and identifying children, was met with protests from community members outside the facility. Glasshouse Farms, the company involved, asserted that its workers were detained with valid warrants and that they maintain compliance with hiring practices, though the event has sparked broader concerns about immigration enforcement tactics and their impact on individuals and families. CBC highlights a community-driven initiative in Montreal aimed at alleviating food insecurity through a new voucher program at the Pointe-aux Trembles public market. This summer, vulnerable families and newcomers like Austin Ola Daniels, who recently arrived from Nigeria, are benefiting from a prepaid, rechargeable food coupon that allows them to purchase fresh produce and essentials. The program, which has expanded from serving 50 households last year to 95 this year, provides tailored monthly amounts based on household size, fostering a sense of dignity and choice among recipients. Organizers see this effort as a way to strengthen community bonds and address the growing demand for food assistance amid rising living costs and housing crises, with hopes of establishing a universal food coupon system across Quebec. The Toronto Star reports on a contentious visit to Florida's newly constructed Everglades Immigration Detention Center, dubbed Alligator Alcatraz, by critics. Democratic lawmakers, after being initially blocked from entering, toured the facility and described deplorable conditions, including overcrowded, unsanitary cells filled with insects, inadequate cooling, and reports of detainees being held in inhumane circumstances. Conversely, Republican officials defended the site, claiming it was well maintained and safe, dismissing the Democrats' claims as exaggerated. The detention center, built rapidly to expand migrant holding capacity, is part of the broader political debate over immigration policy and border enforcement, with opponents condemning the conditions and supporters emphasizing its role in deterring illegal crossings. The controversy underscores ongoing tensions over oversight, human rights, and the efficacy of such temporary detention facilities. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.